Hey, my name is Melinda Russell, and I am obsessed with telling the stories of women involved in motorsport, young and older, from all walks of life, currently involved in a wide range of roles or sharing their stories from the past. I'm a wife, mother of 4 adult children, and a mama of 16. In 2017, I was searching social media for a group dedicated to women in motorsports. When I didn't find what I was looking for, I posted a message to a few racing pages to see if any women would like to connect with me. And now I have thousands of women and men who are part of the Women's Motorsports Network. As crew chief of the only media company dedicated to women in motorsports, I work from wherever my travels take me, publishing this podcast, the Women's Motorsports Network News online magazine, and Let's Talk Racing Live, my social media show. You will hear from women who share their stories from the grid of life, how they manage the messy and memorable moments of family, work, and racing. You will hear their tried and true secrets of success, and many other topics like friendships, family, hardships, and heroes that women deal with to balance the seasons of life. So grab your favorite beverage, pull up a seat, make sure you are comfy, and get ready to be inspired and encouraged from the stories on the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network, and my guest today is Brooke Pulice. She is the social media and PR manager for the Great Lakes Super Sprints. And I'm excited to learn more about the Super Sprint Series, where they're going to be, what they're going to do. But first, Brooke, we'd like to know more about you. So why don't you share a little bit about yourself, your family, where you live, and then we'll get more into the motorsports.
So I live in the Metro Detroit area, basically around Hall Road area, more of the suburbs of Detroit. I graduated from Saginaw Valley State University with a bachelor's degree in marketing and a sales concentration. Fun fact, I actually graduated in 3 years, which was shocking for me. That usually doesn't happen for most people. So I got
Right.
lucky with that. Yeah. At home, I have 2 lab puppies. They're both chocolate labs. One's name is Maverick. We were hoping for Goose for the other one, but the
Oh,
breeder the breeder only had girl dogs, so we ended up with Charlie, but they're still both
okay.
cute.
Yeah.
My position with the Great Lakes Super Sprints, I started about a year ago, so I've been kind of still new to this. I actually had no idea what sprint racing was. Um, so basically, Barry, the series owner, he came into my marketing class one day and he was just like presenting the super sprints. And I was like, oh, like I was kind of thinking I wanted to go towards the sports aspect of like social media and marketing. And from there, I was basically like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to email him. And then I emailed him, and I was the only one who emailed him from my class. And that's basically how I got started in the motorsports world with just, he came into class, I emailed him, and then we went to his office, and I was hired.
Okay. Well, it paid for him to come and introduce the sprints to the class, then, didn't it? Because he got an employee out of it, and sometimes it's okay if you didn't know anything about it. He's able to start you out from scratch and teach you what he wants you to know. So that's not a bad thing for sure. So why don't you first, for people who maybe don't know what the Great Lakes Super Sprints are, why don't you explain what the series is? You know, they travel, where do they race, that kind of thing.
So the series is a 360. Well, actually, okay, let me restart. It's called the Great Lakes Sprint Series. So actually Barry owns the 360 wing sprint cars as well as 410 non-wing sprint cars and 1000cc lightning sprint cars. So I'm working for all those series together. So for the 360 sprints this year, we're going to be mainly in Michigan and Ohio, and then we actually got a couple of races in Canada this year, which that's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
In about I know. I'm like, oh, it's like right by Niagara Falls too, so we can make a little trip out of it. Go to Niagara
Little side
Falls.
trip.
Yep. And then actually in 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to be down in Tennessee. So I'm excited for that too, because I'm going to make
Hmm.
another side trip out of that and do a little trip to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then we do have a couple races in Indiana this year as well.
Okay.
For the other series, we're mostly sticking. The lightning sprints usually stay in the Michigan area. We do have one race at Millstream, which is opening this year. Um, all of our sprint series are actually going to be at Millstream for all sprint night, so we're definitely excited about that. The super
Now,
sprints are
where is
actually.
that?
Oh, that is in Findlay, Ohio.
Okay.
So it's close to Michigan. It's not as far deep
Yeah.
into Ohio.
Okay.
So we're excited to go there. They're rebuilding. So the owners actually, they drive the Lightning Sprint cars. So
Okay.
I think they're gonna back off of that a little bit this year since they have this new track. But I was talking to the owner, Matt Cogley, and he's like, if they're coming to our track, I'm racing. So he's excited. And then the
Okay.
traditional sprint cars, they don't have as many races as any of the other series, but they're going to be a little bit in Ohio and Michigan.
Okay. All right. So, you do the PR, the social media, and had you not been exposed really to racing at all? So this was totally new for you from the start.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, my dad's watched NASCAR a little bit when we were younger. I never watched it. Um, yeah, so
Okay.
I came into this knowing not one thing, and one thing that Barry was like, "This is so exciting that you know nothing." Like that, usually you don't hear people saying that, but it's like you get the fresh perspective on
Uh huh.
the racing and how people your age would want to see it through social media and stuff. So that was
Right.
really, yeah.
So, Brooke, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
I am 21 years old. I'm
Okay.
still very young.
Yeah. I thought you were young from your voice. So, I understand what he's saying about he wants to promote to, the younger generation, which you're part of. And, NASCAR and a lot of these other tracks, and there's a lot of tracks in Michigan, are trying to figure out how do we get those younger people to the racetrack when there is so much else they could be doing, so much competition for their time and their money. So, what would you say is the answer to that, or have you figured that out yet?
So last year we were started with a Facebook and I added an Instagram account. They didn't end up having one, and then we were also on Twitter. But what thing that really caught the attention of younger people, I would say, we started a TikTok page, and that is huge now. And all the short reel clips, those are what really engage people more. And I feel like since TikTok is probably more younger
Mhm.
audience, and I feel like that was our key there. Like last year, we almost had 4,000 followers in just the season when we started on TikTok. And we had a couple of videos blow up, and we were like, all right, yeah, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I would say that TikTok and short form reels are like the best way to catch the younger audience.
Yeah, and motorsports is such a visual,
Hmm.
fast-paced sport. If you put a TikTok of baseball on it, you could be watching for, several minutes before there was any action. Whereas with racing, as soon as that green flag drops, there's all kinds of things happening. And so I think TikTok is a great platform for racing race car drivers if you can get past all of the politics that has become a part of TikTok. But I think that's true of any social media. You have to be smart about what you post and that kind of thing. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing things on TikTok for sure. Now, when you've got 4,000 followers, do you have any idea what the demographic is? Is it mostly younger people? Is it a wide range of people? Do you have any way to test that?
Yeah, so in TikTok, they actually, I mean, same thing as Meta for
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and Instagram, you can actually go in and see all your analytics and see the graphic or like the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we see more men on the page,
Yeah.
but the demographic was like people from age of 20 to 35, which is like that's what we want. We want this younger age. And before Barry was like we were looking at some on Facebook and it's like it's the same people who are have been following the whole time we've started. So
Yeah.
now we're getting this younger audience and we can see like the demographics are going low, like the range is around 20 to 35 and not 45 to 60.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So that's good for people to know if they are, the PR people for a different track or something is maybe give TikTok a try and see if you can raise your followers for sure. So, are you part of the planning as far as the schedule where they go and do they do anything? Do they do anything extra or fun to try to get people to come out and watch? Or is that more the responsibility of whatever track they're going to?
In terms of scheduling, I would say Barry, the series owner, does most of the scheduling, but when we were at the PRI show, I was helping him a little bit. We were meeting with all the tracks that were there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if anyone doesn't know what the PRI show, it's the racing huge convention in Indianapolis. It's basically
Yeah.
at the Colt Stadium, which was pretty cool to see. Um, so yeah, I would say he deals with most of the scheduling, but some things that we've done for track promotion, we've done it on our page, but then Barry used to run the I-96 Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
So last year we did a couple of promotions where if you like, share, and tag people under this video, you can win like 2 free pit passes and special access to there's like a cool view on the top of I-96 that is
Mm-hmm.
crazy and you're so high up. It's actually scary.
Yes.
Um, but that is actually what we engage with is trying to give things away like that to fans. And we got like over 700 shares on that. And we were
Wow.
not expecting it to go that crazy. And it was just how desperate people are to like actually want to get the fan experience. And it was just,
Uh-huh.
it's a crazy thing to see.
Yeah, it is, but it's also rewarding to see that many people are interested and want to come out. So,
Yeah.
why don't can you tell me, do you have the schedule or where could I find the schedule to see like where you're going to be racing at?
I could pull it up on my phone.
Okay. And then how would I look it up?
So we have it pinned on the top of our Great Lakes Super Sprints Facebook page. We also have it on our website.
Okay.
This year we actually have 2 huge sponsors that came on board. So before we had a Michigan and Ohio sprint division, but now we got Michigan Cat on board, like Caterpillar, the construction
Uh-huh.
vehicle company. So now we actually have it named the Michigan Cat Sprint Division and the Ohio Cat Sprint Division.
Nice.
And we have the schedules on there separate, so they have like the Michigan Division and Ohio. So you can also see it on those pages.
Okay. All right. So that's how people can find out where you're going to be running for sure. Um, what's the thing? You've only been in this a year, but I can bet that there's been something that really has surprised you about being involved in motorsports like this. Has there been something that you're like, oh, I never thought this would happen, or I never thought I would get to do this? Do you have any of those thoughts?
So basically, I will say how I first got introduced to this is after Barry came and got me in my class. So he does ice racing for the sprint cars, which is never really been seen before. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so up in Sault Ste. Marie in the UP of Michigan, we put an ice track, like a track. We made it out of the ice on the lake, and the sprint cars, the 360s went out there in like race, and I was like, "What? This is crazy! I never thought that these cars could go this fast on an
Yeah.
ice track. It was just crazy to see." And they put the big spikes in their tires so they have traction. It's actually
Uh-huh.
crazy. That day,
Yeah.
it was probably 45 degrees out and it was sunny and we were like, they took 6 inches off of that ice. Like,
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah,
was quite nerve-wracking.
that would make me a little nervous if I was out there.
Yeah. Um, and then my first ever race, I thought, I don't really know what to expect because I haven't seen them on dirt. I only really thought of them on ice. And Barry's like, yeah, this is just a fun thing that we put on. But when we got to the track, I was like, well, this is like legit.
Yeah.
Like how fast these cars go, and I was in the middle and I was shaking. I'm like, oh God, I gotta back up. I was so scared. And of course it's the first night, so unfortunately there's crashes like crazy and we were at the track till 2 a.m. and we didn't get home till like 5:30 in the morning and Barry's like, I don't know if she's gonna stay with us.
But you're still here, so you stuck it out.
I did, and I found a love and passion for it. I didn't think it would be something that I would be into, and I'm actually surprised that I'm into it.
Yeah. So, and then, so you probably have the same drivers pretty much that race for each race. And so you've gotten to know them too. Doesn't that help that you kind of build relationships with those people?
Yeah, it does a lot. Because like at first I was walking around and these people are like looking at me because Barry's never had a social media person. It's always just been him. So
Uh-huh.
like they're like, who is this girl? Like, what is she doing here? And so
Uh-huh.
now it's really nice now because I can just talk to them like they're friends because they know me now for a year. I've been around. I went to the bar a couple weeks ago with some of them. So that was
Yeah.
after our banquet. So it's more of like a friendship relationship now, which I like, and
Yeah.
they like aren't afraid to come and talk to me, and that's what's really nice. And one thing that's crazy is like our director of tech, he does all of our transponders and everything. He was talking to me the other day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so and so, this car," and I'm like. I recognize the last name. I'm like, oh, you mean the blue car that's number 14? And he's like, you're the only one who would know that. No one would
Yeah.
ever know that.
Yeah. And that is kind of how you start to know people is by the car, what the car looks like more so than
Yeah.
by their name. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you've done? TikTok, I know, is one of them, but during the season, do you promote like different drivers during the week? What are some things you do to keep, I know we say GLSS out in front of the public. So, it's a constant reminder that, hey, where are they going to be? I should go watch them race.
So new this year, we're actually going to be doing every single race. We're going to have huge promotional videos out so people know, and we boost our posts to go towards the demographics, so they'll target that area more around that track, and more people will see that. We do other things like weekly. We're going to do the championship points to see who's in the line like to win. um, a couple days ago, I just posted who to beat in 2024. So it's the list of all the tracks we raced at last year and who we're gonna race this year, and everyone who's won. So everyone is like, "Oh yeah, we got to beat this person this year."
Yeah.
It's basically just keeping up stuff with that. We do flyers every week. Try to keep engaging content. I do a couple times during the season, like a mid-season photo contest where if the whoever has the best photo or funniest photo at the track, and then we'll promote them online. And I'm thinking about maybe might do some giveaways this year, and we're actually starting Great Lakes Super Sprint Fantasy, so that's something new that we're
Uh,
going to announce shortly.
that sounds
So that's
fun.
yeah, it's going to be just like NASCAR has fantasy, so it's going to be just like that where you bet on who's going to win.
That's very cool. Yeah, and that's so popular right now that people are going to want to do that for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's
So,
I know.
go ahead, Brooke.
Oh no, you're good, go ahead.
So you said he came to your class. Um, what kind of a if you went to college for social media and that kind of thing? Is that what you went to school for?
I went for marketing, but I
Okay.
had a couple of social media classes, and that's where I figured I
Okay.
wanted to do social media.
So, do you feel like now that you've been in it, for a year, do you feel like what they taught you in school has helped you in your job, or have you had to kind of learn more by the seat of your pants?
Yeah, I I would say it didn't really help me. I mean, in terms of like the marketing side, I would say it helped me a little bit, like doing the KPI measures and stuff to do like growth on the company and interactions and all that. But for in terms of social media, I don't really think I kind of just did it on my own. I wasn't
Yeah.
really trained at all for it. I didn't know how to make videos, and I think I have a creative mind, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. And if
Hmm.
people like it, they like it. So as of what I'm doing right now, works so far. So I would say it didn't really help on the social media side.
Yeah. See, I wondered about that, and not to put down any school or any kind of education, because that's one thing that I encourage is the more education, that's something people can't take away from you. But I also often think, even like in the accounting field that I was involved in for a long time, the what you learn from the book and what you put into practice daily are usually, there are a lot of times two different things. The basics might be there, but the practical application of social media, how you post, when do you post, how often do you post, what platforms do you post, all those kinds of things, I think is is not something they probably teach. And the other side of that is, in their defense, every business is different. So what they would have taught you for an insurance business might not be what you would do for a racing series.
Hmm.
So do you have any thoughts about that, and
Yeah,
as far as how you figured out what to post?
honestly, I was pretty, like, upset that I there wasn't really any social media classes like that, like, there's nothing that teaches you on how to use Meta, how to post, when to post, exactly what you were saying, and I'm like, these people, this is like a new career. So like I know that they're doing stuff now for like AI classes, but like are you ever going to do anything for social media? I
Hmm.
mean, there's a social media marketing class that tells you like we used a form or a website called Hootsuite that shows you how to post everything, but they don't give you don't know the extensive details on like when the best time is, which I mean that measures on the analytics you get back, but
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of that, we didn't really no. We didn't
Yeah.
really learn much in that. I wish I would have
uh,
learned more.
yeah. There's a gal, her name's Megan Meyer, LL. Meyer is her maiden name. I'll have to get you connected to her. She puts out a lot of really good information about posting. She was a drag racer, and very successful drag racer. And she has a really good, she puts out information. She has, I think, some training that you can take or whatever, posting for motorsports. And so I think maybe we're such a special kind of business, because it is a business, that it's hard to maybe teach. It's more, you have to figure out on your own where you are, who are you trying to reach, and then figure out on your own
Mhm.
how to reach those people in the best way.
That's kinda how it's been the last year. I've just been trying to figure it out on my own. I mean, Barry's helped me out a little bit because he did the social media for the past whenever he started the series in 2016, he's done it. So that helped me out a bit. I mean, in terms of content too, I forgot to answer you asked me about that. I definitely look at other series to try and, like, see what they're doing, and then I'll do something either different, but just so I can see what else is going on out there in the field and have like, okay, we need to be doing this. Like we're not doing that, and I want to do that type of thing.
Yeah, we can always learn from other people that are
Hmm.
posting. And the nice thing about the motorsports world is that they're willing to share. Like if you reached out to my friend Michelle, that runs the track in Alaska, and you said, hey, what's really working
Oh,
for you, she'd be
sorry,
more
I
than
met
happy.
her.
I'm sorry, what?
I met Michelle.
Oh, did you? Okay,
I
good.
did, yes.
So, for instance, there's a lot of racetrack owners, promoters, whatever, who would be more than happy to share what they do because the bottom line is we want all tracks to succeed,
Mhm.
and there's so many tracks that are closing year after year that we want to see motorsports and racing to be a successful business for whoever's running it. So I think being a copycat of what other people are doing is not a bad thing.
Yeah. I know you said you know Michelle. I was just
Uh-huh.
gonna say she actually came to me at PRI after we did a social media they were talking in front of everyone and she came to
Uh-huh.
me and she's like, "Can you help me with something?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like she was wanting to know how you post online and you get those spam comments that say like, "Watch this race here." And if you click on
Mhm.
the link, then and I'm like, "Okay, there's a way. If you shake your phone, it'll say block this." So now every time they come in, it'll block them. So she was like, "I can't figure it out." I'm like,
She's great. She just does such a good job promoting and running her track and stuff in Alaska. And I've threatened to go visit her more than once. And I that's one of my bucket list items is to get up there some summer and stay for a few days and spend some time with her. So yeah, for sure. So Brooke, what's your favorite thing about what you're doing right now?
I love the video part of what I do. I love the content creating because I get so close to the cars. It's actually scary. I most of the time I'm actually getting yelled at by the tracks to move back, but I get so close and that's like what brings me so much joy is the shots that I'm getting and I'm like, "Oh my God, these look so good. I'm so excited to post this." That's like when I go to a track, that's what I look forward to is shooting all the new videos and all different ways I can do new things.
And then do you take the photographs too, or do you just stop your video and take from there?
We have a track or we have a series photographer, so he does most of the film. I'll take photos of all the cars in the pits and then post them
Uh,
online, so I'll do more of the pit side kind of things.
okay. All right. And what about your least favorite thing that you do?
Ooh. Um,
Getting
Getting
home
dirty.
at 5:30 in the morning?
Yeah, I would say, okay, one of the things that I do not love, and I'm pretty sure Barry knows this, but when we get home from the races, we usually have a hotel when we're far at like 2 to 3 a.m. I'm up writing the press releases. And I am so tired. I've fallen asleep on my computer before
Yeah.
because we were up so late just recapping the night, and I have to do that. I do that for the other series too if they're racing that night. So sometimes I'm up till 5.
Oh gosh.
That's the downside of the press
Yeah.
releasing part because he wants to get the information out that night. So
Yeah.
we try
Yeah,
our
that's
best.
hard.
Yeah.
Hard for sure. Yeah. So what are you looking forward to the most this year? Are you going to a track you haven't been to? Is there a favorite track that you have been to that you're looking forward to going back? What are you looking forward to for this year?
So there's a couple of new tracks that we're going to this year that I'm actually really excited for. There's Lawrenceburg Speedway in Indiana, which we have been trying to get a race here, and they're under new owners this year. So we're really excited to be there. We're going back to Eldora, of course.
Mhm.
So that's going to be exciting. And the only thing everyone
Yeah.
loves Eldora. The only thing I don't like is that you can't see the cars on the whole track if you're in the pits. Like you have to
Oh
turn
yeah.
and you have to turn as they go, which is the
Yeah.
only downside there.
Yeah.
Um, I I do love Atomic Speedway. We're not going there this year, unfortunately. I really wish that we were. Um, I-96 though always puts on such a great show. We always have such a huge turnout in the stands. It's one of the best tracks for sprint racing in Michigan. It basically is one of the best. It's the best track in Michigan for
Yeah.
dirt racing, in my opinion. I think that's the best.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Canada.
Oh,
Apparently, yeah, we're doing like a well, I wouldn't say a speed week, but we're doing like the Midsummer Nationals there and the Northern Sprint Car Nationals. And I heard that the track is similar to the size of Eldora, so I'm excited
oh,
to go. It's going to be a new experience racing in Canada.
yeah. That sounds so exciting and fun. You know, it's just all those new experiences, new people you're going to meet, and everything. And you just can't. You know what's better than that? There's nothing better than doing that for sure. Yeah. So, Brooke, are you still? You said you graduated. Did you've graduated already?
Yeah, I
From
graduated in May of last year.
Okay, and so is this your main job? I mean, I know this takes a lot of time. Is this your main job, or do you have another job, or are you, interested in a career doing something else in addition to this? What would it be?
So right now I'm doing the sprints. It's basically full time, but during the week I have another job working for a mechanical contracting company. I do their social media marketing. I go in the office Tuesdays and Thursdays. That I do that every week. It's just a small job that
Hmm.
I do. I have another like small job that I do social media marketing for. Not very much, but because they don't really provide me with much content. So,
Yeah.
um, and then also took on like another side thing just to make extra money. I'm an independent travel agent. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
That so I get to book vacations. I mean, I just started, so I'm still pretty new at it, but I'm excited and you get all these opportunities to go to
Yeah.
places for cheap to experience them. So, and I
Hmm.
love traveling, so
My daughter is a travel agent with Smart Moms Travel,
mm,
and they specialize in Disney because
mm,
she's always been crazy about Disney, but they can book anything. They can book anything in the world, where you want to go. And
mhm.
so she does that full time, and she's always traveling, going somewhere all the time. So yeah, that's a fun thing. And it almost sounds like maybe you're a little entrepreneurial because it's you're doing social media for this person. So is that something that you are thinking about having your own social media and marketing company so that you could do this for a group of companies?
That's so my parents want me to do it, and I'm like, I just haven't took the step to do it yet, but I feel like it is in the works. Eventually, it'll be
Hmm.
something that I'll do. I think it'll be a good way to get more business and make more money for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents keep saying, "I want you to do it so bad." I'm like, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you should really consider that because that's the wave of the future. I mean, we're not going back to newspaper advertising and that we all know that. And so the new technologies that come out and everything, I would encourage you to get started. The sooner, what is it they say? The best
The
day to
sooner
start
the
is the best day to start was yesterday. The next best day to
yeah,
start is today. So
yeah.
yeah, for sure. Well, Brooke, is there anything that we haven't talked about that we should share about either what you're doing or the Great Lakes? Is it the Great Lakes Super Sprints or Sprint Series? What's it called now?
So the Great Lakes Super Sprints are just the 360 wing cars, but
Okay.
the Sprint series are all the series
Okay. The
combined.
Great Lakes Sprint
Yeah.
Series. So, is there anything we haven't discussed that you'd like to share or um, something else about anything that we've talked about?
I would just say that this year is going to be very exciting for me because this schedule is hefty.
Yeah.
Um, I think maybe we have one weekend off, and I think we still race on the Friday. Um, but we're looking at a good 42 races this season. So,
Wow.
and
Woo.
that's one sprint car series. That's not even the lightning sprints or the traditional sprints. So, I think my main focus is gonna be super sprints this year, but it's gonna be a wild season. It's 42 races is crazy.
It's a good thing you're young, Brooke, because
I know.
the younger you are, the better you can handle all of that and the travel and everything. So,
Oh, I don't
Well,
know. Those drives are bad on when you're coming home at 2 a.m. I
yeah.
get so tired.
Yeah, I couldn't do it at my age for sure. Well, I'm excited that we had a chance to talk and that I could learn more about you and what you're doing and I've followed the series some through social media, but I can't say that I've ever actually been to a race. So I'm going to have to put that on my bucket list to try to get to a race and see it, firsthand for sure. Um, like I said, I've enjoyed talking to you. Is there any last words or final reminders that you want to share with the audience?
I just want to say thank you for having me on. I never thought that I would be on a podcast any time in my life. So
Oh,
this
you'll
is
probably
pretty
be on
cool.
more.
Yeah, it's new for me. It's a new experience. It was great being able to talk with you today and learning a little bit about what you do as well. I watched a couple of your other podcasts back to kind of know what to expect, so
Yeah,
because I was a little nervous coming into it, but it's just a conversation. That's
it's
just what I
just
got.
yeah, it's just a conversation. Yeah,
Yep. And
awesome.
if you want to come out to a race, you can just reach out to me, and we might be able to hook
Okay,
you up with some pit pass.
okay, that sounds great. I'll do that for sure. So, well, Brooke, you have a good weekend. It's Easter weekend, and so somebody told me that traditionally the weather gets better after Easter. So I'm counting on that. The sun is out today, but it's still kind of chilly here in the
Yeah.
Kalamazoo area, and so hopefully it warms up and race season's just around the corner.
And hopefully for no more snow.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Brooke, thank you so much. And I'm going to end the recording, but I want you to hang on. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. Subscribe to my show and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you or someone you know would like to be featured in the Women's Motorsports Network News online magazine, this podcast, or Let's Talk Racing Live, my social media show, contact me via Messenger on Facebook at Melinda Russell, or send me an email at womensmotorsportsnetwork@gmail.com.